Hey guys, we are back today to speak more about the housing market. There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of new construction concerns, and but there's some good news with the new construction too. So we're going to go through a bunch of that stuff, try to give you a better idea of what Florida's really dealing with, and not have you just live by all of these media posts. There are so many people out there right now pretending like they know what's going on in this market. I am not going to be one of them. I will let you know I don't have a crystal ball. I can't get one from Amazon, and I don't know where else to get it. So we're going to just have to go by data that we see what's happening with our clients, see what's happening in the statistics of the MLS, and just kind of wrap that all together, tell you what the story is, and then you make your own decision. And again, I welcome any questions or comments down below to carry this conversation on further so that your participation will help me to better tell the story going forward. So please, I invite you again, comment down below, call, text, email, or whatever you want to if you want to talk to me about any of the things that we discuss. Because again, I am a real estate agent here in Southwest Florida, so let me help you get your way into Florida. All right, let's go ahead and get started. First thing I want to do is share my screen. One of the things we know happens is that AI is going to be used going forward in most everything we do. Well, Grok is another one of the AI platforms, and they asked it if they think the housing market's going to crash. Now, once again, AI is wonderful. If you've used it at all, it's amazing how quickly it can gather information and tell you a story. And this is what this is doing. The AI is it's scouring the internet to find all the information, all the data that's been put out there regarding the housing market. Here's the problem. Nobody can still tell you what's going on because real estate is hyperlocal. That's why when we try to talk about what the real estate market's doing, it's not enough to just name a state. You have to name an area of a state, a city in the state, a county in the state. Um, it's just very, very different. Like from this West Coast to go to the East Coast of Florida, very different. Pricing's different, lifestyle's different. Just the things around you, the amenities you have access to, it's all different. So why would you expect pricing to be the same? You don't, right? So same thing applies here. Grok does say, if we just scroll down here real quick, that they asked about a potential crash here in 25, and Grok said it's unlikely. Unlikely, right here. Unlikely. So we can guess all we want. A lot of the markers there are telling us it's not even going to happen because this isn't the mortgage crisis of 2008. That that recession that happened back then is purely due to the mortgage issues. And I know because I was in real estate back then too, and I know exactly what was going on. Adjustable rate mortgages were killing people, and many of the people were taking out multiple loans on different properties because they could qualify. You're not going to qualify today. It's changed completely. Anyway, I want to jump past this because so according to AI, we're not going to have a crash. So we're going to go with that for right now. But I did want to jump over also to a comment that I received on the channel here from D Turtle 18. Thank you for this comment, but he just said or she said that they just closed on their new home. First time home buyer got the selling price 15,000 lower and sellers paid closing costs and a 1-year warranty. It's actually a 1 year on everything, a 10-year on the structure. They did try to lower it to 7, so it might be 7 instead of 10. I don't know why they would allow them to have less liability time, but that 10,000 or that 10 years or 7 years, it's basically for the structure of the home. So if something was happening with your foundation, if you're having massive cracks in the block walls, if your stucco was falling off, those are all more of a build issue. So those could be warranty issues, but that's what that longer time frame covers. The 1 year just covers the whole house. If you have nail pops or screws popping and things like that, you can get those repaired generally. But anyway, he said they also wouldn't have got this a couple years ago, which is quite true. And they're glad they didn't listen to others telling them not to buy. Their rent was going to go up another $200, which caused them to decide to purchase. And FYI, their mortgage payment is $100 lower than rent. Win for them. Congratulations, D Turtle. Thank you for sharing your story because this helps me tell all the folks out there There are people buying. Everybody has their own situation and their own specific needs. These folks needed a house because rent was going up again. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. You think rent is just going to stay flat or it's going to go down because we have all this supply of homes for sale? If nobody's buying the homes, what are they going to do? Rent. So we're going to get into that in a minute, but hang tight. Now, as far as rent goes, we are going to talk real quick about rent in the state because you can see right here, despite the cooling sales, rents have not followed suit. And again, it is much worse in the big cities. So Miami, you can see the median rent sits right around 3,000. That's a 6.2% year over year increase. Orlando and Tampa have been more 4 to 5%. And Jacksonville and Cape Coral, it's saying that we're remaining stable and we might be slightly up. I probably have to agree with that, but let me see if we can find. This is an average sales price over the last 12 months, or rent price, I'm sorry. Okay, so this chart is out of the MLS. You see right here, Florida Gulf Coast MLS. And this is a chart that's going to tell us over the last 12 months what the average rent has been in the area. Now, this is the entire area. So there's 4,316 rentals that were rented out in that 12-month span. And as you can see, it has, don't ever use the month that is not finished yet because you can see it's not reporting properly. August is still, it's showing low only because the numbers aren't completely in. It's sitting according to this right now, 2576, so $2,500 plus. But you can see it's stayed in between probably 2750 up to 3750. So it's right in that range. Rent is still pretty pricey. And the reasons behind these changes is insurance premiums. Landlords have insurance premiums too. They have costs that go up. That doesn't change regardless of what their home value does. They still have to make the payment on the mortgage they took out. And there's cost associated with that. Just like any homeowner, there's costs. So it gets passed on to the renter. The landlords can't just keep sucking it all up. The landlords can't really cut the base rents. And if they did cut the rents, they're going to come back with an increase, just like what happened to D Turtle, $200 increase. And that can happen every single year. And if you're going month to month, look out. They can take it up on you every month. So those are things you have to consider when you're working your way through this as well. But if you're not a renter, don't worry about it. This is just giving people the information necessary to help make that decision of renting versus buying. Now, another thing that's going on for money savings here in Lee County is Cape Coral, Fort Myers, really the whole state has a $10,000 hurricane grant um, available to them. Now, this program is very specific upon who can use it. This is something I would love to do to get impact windows on my house, but that isn't something that I'm able to do at this point. I would love to be able to use this on my own property to put some impact windows in, but that is not going to apply to me, and I'm going to show you exactly why. So this is called My Safe Florida. And what we're looking at is they allocated $280 million for the program, 80 million more than last year. And they're figuring about 45,000 people are going to take advantage of this. But here is the caveat to using this. So sounds like a great deal, right? Until you find out that the program requires applicants to own a single family home, detached residential property, or townhome built before 2008 with insurance coverage for 700,000 or less. I have a single family home. It is detached. And it's a residential property. It was not built before 2008. I'm a 2019. Insurance coverage, definitely, yes, less than that. So I miss on one parameter, but that's enough just to knock me out. And that's where a lot of people are going to be knocked out because in this area particularly, we have a lot of new construction. So unfortunately, this doesn't apply. The new construction that's getting put up now, I've seen the majority of it seems to be coming with impact windows as opposed to shutters. Another way you're going to save some money is we've got our top 5 insurance companies that are literally dropping rates. Yes, you heard me, dropping rates. So it's an average of 6.5% amongst the 5 auto insurers. And they're doing this because they've had some reforms with the insurance. So now they don't allow third parties to basically grab the information and sue the insurers. That's the thing that was going on. They were taking these claims that were many times not completely on the up and up, and they were suing the insurance companies for bigger dollar numbers because they would get a percentage of each and every one they did. Since that had gone away, we have seen changes. But you'll see here, these five insurance groups, they requested a 4.3% rate increase in 24, and there was an average of 31% in 23. I don't know about that. I don't know that I saw that on my policy, but then again, I don't recall if I was still with State Farm at that time or if I've moved on. But still, 6.5% reduction was requested for this year. And again, it's for Progressive, Geico, State Farm, Allstate, and USAA. Those five provide insurance for 78% of the Florida market. So yeah, it's a big deal when these five made the adjustment. And then it goes on down below to really break it down and show you what they've done. Progressive has drop, 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 drop. I mean, they've been aggressive with the drops. Geico has two drops. Allstate has two drops. And again, these are anywhere from 2% to up to 8.6%. USAA, very moderate. So I'd like to see what their rates are because those are small, small adjustments. So they might have already favorable rates. And then State Farm, again, 6 at the highest, 2.2 at the lowest. But you can see these insurance companies are making adjustments. And these five, I mean, there's still another 9 insurance companies out there that you can still go to outside of these. So, as I've been saying all along, insurances have been adjusting. Home insurances, same deal. You can still get some great rates on that stuff. You have to shop, you have to call around. Don't expect your first call to be the one. This happened with one of my clients, the Harmons. They were moving into a golf access property, and when they were calling around for the insurance, they found out that the initial rate was $10,000 for flood insurance on a golf access home. That wasn't sitting well, obviously. It almost blew the deal up. But they called around and they found a rate that was less than half of that. It was actually, I think, $4,000. So they did the homework. They made the calls. They did everything they had to do to position themselves. That's what you're going to have to do in some cases. You might get lucky on first try, but if you don't, keep calling. Now, something that I'm going to talk about is this could be a little troubling for some people, but we talk about new construction all the time. And new construction, a lot of things are going on right now. The price per square foot is going down. And that's, that's expected because prices are going down. Now, there's small, small adjustments. And when I say small, they're still showing, where are we? The median list price for newly built homes in the second quarter, and again, this is national, was 450,000. Cape Coral, Fort Myers, Lee County, Southwest Florida in general, 419 is our median sale price. So we're kind of hanging right where we're supposed to be, but you'll see right down below, prices have fallen in 30 metros. The deepest ones are in the south. Yeah, that's because that's where all the building is happening. So yeah, when there's a little bit of additional inventory, there's going to be some cuts. And we're going to show you that in a minute too, what D.R. Horton's doing in particular, how their prices compare to the resales in a community where both are going on. That could be a huge trouble spot where you're competing against the builder to sell your property. We had one listing already from this past year that we had to give back to the sellers because the builder was going to give a better deal every single time. There was nothing we could do for these folks. Even if they wanted to give their house away, they were going to have trouble because the builder gives incentives on top of the pricing. And just like you heard with D Turtle, not only did they get a $15,000 reduction off the price, the asking price, but then they also got closing costs and other incentives on top of that. So that's why it's so difficult to compete with resales against new home construction, especially when it's in the same community. Anyway, Cape Coral and Jacksonville did make this list about having some of the steepest declines. And we know Punta Gorda was, at one time they were saying that they were the worst, and what was it? Northport. Northport was also supposed to be terrible. But then again, reports followed that said, hey man, they're one of the boom towns, just like Cape Coral. We're all boom towns. So you believe what you want to believe. I will tell you that the South leads in new home inventory. Absolutely, we do, because We, number one, have great weather all year long. We don't get stopped up with weather the same way that the rest of the country does. Yes, we get an occasional tropical storm or hurricane, but that is a week's time. And all of these jobs generally have to be picked up, cleaned up, and tucked away on all of the supplies. So they don't have to go picking up and fixing things in most cases to continue the construction after a storm passes. But that's just one of the reasons. Everybody's trying to get here. I'm sorry, I'm reading reports all the time that Florida is still one of the top migration states that people are going to. So, regardless of what you're hearing out there, it's not changing. It really isn't. We just had a couple more folks this week go under contract, and we're hearing some other folks that are nearby us here. They're having the same experience. My lender, Brian, he is telling me he's been as busy as he's been over the last couple of years, as he is right now. So there are a lot of people that are coming to us and taking out applications. The rates are going up and down. I mean, I saw 2 days ago, hey, rates went down, maybe a quarter point, and then rates went back up the following day. I don't know what to tell you guys. As we've been saying, don't expect this to be a rate thing. Don't expect to get this thing down to 2, 3, 4%. If you see five, I think the 15 year was saying 5.5% now. So that's pretty decent for a 15 year if you can take on that little bit extra payment with making a shorter time frame. But you're still in the high sixes for a 30 year. And it could even bounce close to seven. Like I said, it's just going up and down lately. So there really is no rate to tell you that you're going to generally get. And again, a lot of factors play into that, like your credit score. So your debt ratios, you have to get all that stuff in line. Now, with this new construction, sure, it's all over the place, right? And there's a major home builder, they're seeing signs of life in some of the housing markets. And it doesn't sound like a big deal, but Pulte is third largest home builder in the nation. See right there. And in Florida, we had new orders rise by 2% in the last quarter compared with a year earlier. So 2% doesn't sound like much, but 2% positive is better than 2% negative. Wouldn't you agree? But this president, the CEO, he's happy that they are seeing that kind of a change in their market. So if a builder on that scale is saying that 2% is a really good thing, when is everybody going to wake up? We're starting to see positive signs that things are improving in Florida. Improvement means higher prices. So are you going to take on the higher price and the higher rate? Or are you maybe going to try to work something out like D Turtle did? Anyway, this is the part that I wanted to get with you because there's an area up just north of Tampa. New construction has become a problem. And the reason it's become a problem is that they've lost some of the tradespeople that do the work. So these construction crews, they can be a different crew each week that's working on these jobs. The level of skilled labor is different than it once was. On top of that, there's a lot of delays that can happen with the permitting departments and the inspections that need done throughout construction so that when they pass it, they hurry up to get to the next stage. That hurry is sometimes meaning that things aren't getting done properly. You can see this when a block wall goes up on a new construction home in a day, and then they're putting the roof on by the end of the week. That's not very much time. Back in the day, they used to let concrete, set up. Now I know it sets up a lot faster these days. They put some components in it that allow it to harden much faster. But again, you just put the block up on a Monday or Tuesday and you're putting a roof on Friday. That might be a little bit aggressive, but this is one of the things that they have to do in order to keep a home on schedule. I think our times are now down to 6 and 8 months again to finish a home once it's begun. If you're doing a custom home, I'm going to tell you you're still a good 2+ years away, maybe closer to three, depending on the situation. That's what happened to my client Eric. But he is in his home now. Yes, his golf access home. It's going to be beautiful. I'm going up there to see it here within this next week, and I'll see if I can share some pictures with you. But anyway, they had a this particular situation. I saw this on the news, so I figured this would be a great thing to talk about. But there was a townhome project where stucco fell off the side of the building. And when the stucco fell off, they were able to see a support beam that looked like it was rotting out. Well, it was not only rotting out, but it was also covered in mold because of moisture. So there was water intrusion happening somewhere. And they literally had to take off one of the support beams that helped hold up the second floor on this. So they're saying that this definitely was already failing and it could have been catastrophic, down to the point of somebody maybe losing their life if they're up there when it collapses. So this is a very serious thing. Please do not disregard inspections for a new construction build. Get an inspection done. They're going to get into things a little bit deeper. They're used to seeing things, seeing what things are supposed to look like versus what they do look like. That's going to save you potentially a huge hassle and maybe a trip to the hospital, which nobody wants. Now, what I wanted to address with you real quick is this particular home um, is in a place called Stonewater. Stonewater it's a nice community. I really like it there. I've had clients that have purchased in there, and I was really close to purchasing there myself, but my son has different needs. His school is too far away from this place, and there still are no sidewalks leading away from the community into the residential areas. So it wasn't a safe place to go. I would have really enjoyed being on the big water view. As you can see, that is a great water view that they offer there. And let's see, come on. Let's see if we can get a picture to come up. No, nobody wants to give me a picture, huh? All right. So anyway, there's big water views there, but what I'm here to show you is they currently have this for sale for 400,000, right? It has an extended lanai and a portable hot tub outside of the standard 1816 square foot build. Okay. They did say that they spent over 55,000 in upgrades, and part of it was a 40 by 25 paved and screened lanai. So they have acknowledged that that was an extra expense that they put on top of the home. But here's the interesting part. Here, this is from the tax rolls. It lets us know everything about a property. I'm going to show you some other cool insights in here. So if you're looking for a home with me, we're going to be able to go in and do exactly what we're doing here. But first, let's get to my first point. They bought this home they bought this home for 430,000 in May of 23. If you purchased anytime after 2020, you're probably going to be upside down. These folks are upside down. Their ask price is 400. They started at 439, so they were just over their purchase price. They're now at 400. Here's the big problem. Outside of being at 400, that's not sold yet. It still has to sell. The bigger problem comes in because right on this list of all the inventory that DR Horton has, Stonewater is right down here. And if you look at the first three homes that are listed in there, they are a Clifton, which is the 1816 square foot, the same exact home that we just saw. And the next two are 2034 Del Rey's. That's the square footage, 2034. And they are 366 and 370 respectively. You can keep going up to a Shelby. These Shelbys are amazing. A three and a den, 2.5 bath. It is still a one story, but the garage, it says 2.5. This thing is a 32-foot deep garage. Unreal. Love it to death. And putting that on a big water view would have been amazing. But I already told you what kept me from doing it. But anyway, if you keep going down into the Shelbys, now you've got two more that are just within earshot or eye shot of that home at 400 that's not selling. 410, 412, brand new. You get your warranties. You get closing costs on top of that. I mean, they're somewhere near $15,000 now when they're doing that. And you can still, these prices they show, these are their asking prices. You can still offer to a builder. They don't have to take it. They have numbers for each and every home that's on this list. There is a final sale number that they'll do, and if it goes beyond that, they won't do it. Ask me how I know. Yes, I used to work as a new construction home consultant, so I know exactly how this works. So those homes, they're competing against these homes. And I'm just going to ask you point blank. I know my answer, so I'm going to ask yours. If you had a choice between a brand new construction and a resale home that somebody else lived in and could have busted things up, and you don't get any warranties, and you've had a couple years pass, so that means some maintenance things are going to start to come up. Would you rather go that route, or would you rather go the new construction route where it's all done, it's brand new, you maintain it from the get, and you know exactly what's going on? And again, get an inspection. Do not let that pass. I'm telling you, please, please, please trust me on this. Get an inspection on that brand new construction home. It's absolutely necessary. That is a little bit about what's going on in this Florida market. So if you truly think that it's just not the time for you to buy, then don't buy. Stay in your home. A lot of folks are staying in their homes now. And the equity positions throughout the country, we are at the highest levels of equity that we've ever had in our homes. It can be a good thing and a bad thing because if I have a bunch of equity in my home, I don't have a need to go anywhere, do I? Obviously, you can borrow against it. I don't encourage doing that unless you're improving the home on something that actually will give you value. Many things will not. And I will tell you, even a pool, you're not going to get even 50% of the value on the actual price. So if it's a $100,000 pool, can you get 50 grand back out of it? Possibly. Are you going to get much more out of it? Not really. So it really is for personal reasons and it's for personal use. Anyway, if this video gave you everything that you needed to know about the new construction that's going on here in Florida right now, that's awesome. If it didn't, check out one of these other videos. And if you need further help, got questions, just want to have a conversation, go ahead, either comment down below so I can respond to it, or call, text, email, get on the app, get a Zoom call going with us, whatever it is, because I've got your back when moving to the Gulf Coast.